The world has their eyes set on the highly anticipated grudge match between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya. While Pereira was able to snag the win in their last encounter, he has since then gained nearly 50 pounds that he's now got to lose. And with this fight against Adesanya depending on whether he can do it, the stakes couldn't be any higher. In this video, we'll be going into this and a lot more. First off, defending middleweight champion Israel Adesanya will fight Alex Pereira as the headliner of UFC 281. There's no denying these two have quite a complicated history, at least inside the octagon. With Pereira coming out as the victor in their previous encounters, Israel has a lot to prove. As the buildup of their fight continues to heat up, both fighters are displaying quite a bit of confidence. There's still months left before the fight, but fans of the two fighters are already getting riled up. Adesanya has a lot to prove in this case. Not only is he the defending middleweight champion, but he's also not had the best luck against Alex in the octagon in their previous matches. This will make their next rematch all the more thrilling to watch, and it seems the scales might be on Israel's side this time. Not only has he won his last 3 fights, but Pereira might not even be in the best shape to take him on currently. Alex is walking around like he's a heavyweight, and with the two set to go head-to-head in almost 3 months, he's got a long way to go before he'll be in fighting shape. Next, what is Pereira doing to prepare for the match? Well, currently, the UFC fighter seems to be enjoying some time with his family in Brazil. He recently posted a picture on Instagram that showed that he was taking some admittedly deserved time off after that stunning first-round knockout of Strickland last month. But it does seem like he's got his head in the game, or at least is trying to. On Wednesday, he posted a picture of him weighing himself. The former 2-weight world champion let the world know that he's currently around 105.6 pounds, which is about as much as you'd expect a UFC heavyweight champion to be. And so, there's a lot that needs to be done if he's going to be ready for the fight against Israel and on November 12th. Though, if he's open about it and letting his fans and followers know, we're sure Pereira is more than ready to work his way down and be in fighting shape by the time the two rivals meet in the octagon in November. Moving on, considering all this, can Adesanya finally win this time? Israel has been on a kind of hot streak recently, having won 3 of his previous fights. And when you consider the fact that Alex might not even be in fighting shape by the time the rematch comes around, it really does feel like the odds are on Adesanya's side. But even so, we've got to keep a couple things in mind. While Adesanya's past 3 victories are no small feat, he won all 3 of them by decision, and many now feel as if he wasn't convincing. He was quick to dismiss criticism though, stating that he's never run away from a fight, and that he goes against people who people run away from. It looks to us that he's really not in the mood to lose this time. He added that he's excited to go up against someone who's going to face him head on and actually try to finish him off instead of playing defensively. He wants to be left wondering if he's going to knock his opponent out or if he's the one to get knocked out. And of course, the fact that he's referring to Alex here isn't at all subtle. Lastly, Alex fired back with a response of his own. Pereira was quick to fight back though, responding to his rival in a solemn way. Seeing Israel's thirst for revenge, Pereira simply stated on his social media that revenge is never fulfilling. It kills the souls and poisons the spirit. So it looks like, for him at least, this fight isn't meant to be personal, but it's clear that his opponent has a completely different outlook on it. With all this back and forth between the two rivals, it's so clear to us just why this is one of the most anticipated and hyped encounters of UFC 281. Both of them bring a lot to the table, and we're wondering if Adesanya will be able to retain his title and take the revenge he so clearly wants. Or will Alex once again prove to everyone that it's not about what you say, but about what you do that matters? Now, in other news. Next up, Dana White snubs Khabib from top 5 UFC fighters. UFC fans were thrown in a loop the other day when UFC president Dana White snubbed Khabib Nurmagomedov from his list of all-time best UFC fighters. Surprisingly enough, White included Conor McGregor in the list. Of course, fans were quick to criticize the list, to point to where White had to explain his choices during a segment on GQ's YouTube channel. During the video, he says that there are many other people that should have been on the list. Though it's clear to us that him snubbing Khabib is no accident. White is known to have said previously that he thinks that Nurmagomedov retired too young to be considered an all-time great. The UFC fighter retired in October 2020 at his mother's request. The fighter has managed to retain a mostly dominant career where he barely even lost a round, let alone a fight. Next, Jake Paul slams Dana White for stating increase in fighter pay as never gonna happen. White recently appeared in a GQ video where he talked about a number of topics. One answer that received many criticisms, and among them being Jake Paul's, was his response to increasing fighter pay. White mentions how fighters also want to make more money. The current UFC president mentions how boxing has been destroyed because of money and all the things that go on. He adds that as long as he's here, a change in fighter pay is never gonna happen. It's no mystery why this response response riled up many people. Jake Paul took to social media to call the UFC president out. In a tweet, he mentioned how no major sports organization pays its athletes as poorly as Dana White does to the UFC. He called anyone who can't see this fact one of Dana's sheeps. The influencer also stated how the UFC has been boasting how they've sold out 21 events in a row, but despite that, haven't been rising fighter pay or giving them healthcare. Paul also drew an eye-opening comparison. He mentions how if his boss told him that he'd never get a raise, he'd quit and go somewhere he's valued. This is all the more true when his boss has made hundreds of millions from his hard work and continues to keep him at a minimum wage. The biting parallel with the current UFC situation really has many people seeing just why this is quite the serious problem. Lastly, Daniel Cormier fires back at another UFC star. UFC commentator Daniel Cormier recently fired back at another UFC star over criticisms of his commentating. On a recent tweet, Darren Till posted about the upcoming Charles vs. Islam fight, stating that's going to be exciting, but only if Cormier isn't allowed to commentate. Daniel, of course, didn't take kindly to being called out like this and fired back at Till. In another tweet, he stated that he expected Darren to be better than this and that he's called multiple teammate fights, and that his commentary doesn't affect the judges or anything. In many cases, he added that his team is mad at him because they feel he's too much in the other direction. He ends the tweet by telling Till to do better. Till replied back to the tweet saying that it was only a joke and that he said it for the likes and the retweets. He ended the tweet by saying that he's hoping to see Daniel commentating there. To us, this definitely seems like a big backtrack from Darren. It's possible that he might have had some genuine problems with Darren's commentating, but chose to bury the issue there. This isn't the first time Cormier's been called out for his commentary, though. Fans and fighters have taken jabs at Cormier for his work on the mic, among them being Dominic Cruz, who stated that Cormier does not do his homework ahead of the events. As it happened here, this led to some public headbutts between the two. Daniel has also had a heated debate with UFC Austin winner Phil Hawes, after he was tasked with interviewing the fighter in the cage after the match. Apparently, Cormier was one of the mentors of Darren Wynn, Hawes' opponent in the match, and he didn't take too kindly to their association. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Pereira will be able to lose 50 pounds in time for his rematch with Israel? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.